other political news, Ron DeSantis is in Utah tonight, where he's going to receive the endorsements of more than a dozen state legislators, and those endorsements are welcome news for the struggling campaign. NewsNation has confirmed the DeSantis campaign is shifting strategy, doing more small events as he tries to regain momentum and close the gap against Trump. There's a memo to supporters that reads, "Our path to the nomination will now require running an underdog and DC outsider campaign. We will now get back to basics and focus on the early nominating states." So I know we were just talking about Trump, Bill, but DeSantis, he says now he's going to start running an underdog campaign. Wasn't he already running an underdog campaign?
I think it's where they should have started from the beginning. I mean, running an outsider campaign, but also talking to voters as being an insurgent, I think would have been his natural fit, given the policies pursued in Florida. Doing the smaller gatherings for events as opposed to trying to compete with Trump on the large gatherings, I don't think has really worked. There's a lot of time to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things that a lot of people are looking at is the DeSantis campaign more like Scott Walker, Jeb Bush, or is it more like John McCain, where they can successfully retool,
right.
He can recalibrate his message, reconnect with the voters, and actually go on.
And he could come off the pace. I mean, 4 years ago, we were talking about Elizabeth Warren as the certain nominee of the Democratic Party, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Bob, DeSantis is not known for the so-called retail politics that is so treasured and so key to winning an Iowa caucus, you know, traveling to all 99 counties as a lot of the candidates do.
Right. Well, listen, he's got some major problems. I mean, his launch was terrible. He's been stuck, or his numbers are going down. Vivek Ramaswamy is basically in the rearview mirror and closing in very fast. So, and I think he's in real danger of losing donors to the point where if he doesn't have a good debate, if he doesn't have a good summer, he's in real trouble. And is he another Jeb Bush? Is he another Scott Walker? He hasn't had one great moment on the campaign trail.
Or great day for that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, though. His latest effort against so-called woke culture, something that he's been running on, something that he considers to be one of his strongest things. He's going after InBev, which incidentally is not an American company. It's an international conglomerate, because the investments made by the state funds for retired state employees in Florida were invested in InBev, and because of the whole controversy about the endorsement from the trans personality, can't remember her name.
Mulvaney.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dylan
Mulvaney.
Yeah. We have some sound from Ron DeSantis. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's hear that. Yeah.
I know.
We're going to be launching an inquiry about Bud Light and InBev, and it could be something that leads to a derivative lawsuit filed on behalf of the shareholders of the Florida pension fund, because at the end of the day, there's got to be penalties for when you put business aside to focus on your social agenda.
Okay, you guys are lawyers. That seems like a three-cushion bank shot, right? I mean, he's going to sue them because they invested in InBev and they lost money in the state fund.
But why? Yes, he can do all of that as a derivative lawsuit. That takes time, money, and resources. But why is he talking about a lawsuit if he wants to be the GOP nominee? It feels like he's flailing in the wind, and so now they're going to try the outsider underdog thing. Oh, I'm going to bring another lawsuit because I'm against this, quote, woke culture. If you want to be president, run for president, focus on it, and make it your top priority. And I don't get a sense this campaign is making it happen like that or thinking along those lines.
And he should also be talking more about the economy and maybe a bigger tax cut than Trump. Give us something, you know, inflation. You know, these type of issues, inflation and the economy are the top issues. He's not talking about that as much.
And border states are delegate-rich states. He should be down there pushing immigration reform as well and building the wall and stopping.
I mean, he's trying to own the woke issue. So far, it's not really working for him.
Republicans are also telling me that they don't want him going after private businesses. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, it seems a little bit contradictory to the whole free enterprise thing. Okay.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.